Hey guys, happy Wednesday. And if it's Wednesday, we know what that means. Yes, that means it's Wednesday Wipeout. So, for those of you who are new here, and I do have several, I don't know if you know what Wednesday Wipeout is, but it encompasses this book right here, A Year of Dishcloths by Maggie Weldon, available at Annie's Crochet. Also, Amazon has it most of the time, and you can sometimes get it on your used book sale sites like Abe's and thriftbooks.com. So, our lovely friend and near and dear Laura over at Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming had shouted out to Sam, one of our lovely other Yarny friends and sisters over at Memphis Makes, because she had just finished a 2-year long segment called Tile of the Week Thursday. And Laura said, "Hey, Sam, since you just finished Tile of the Week Thursday, how about another year-long make-along, but this time making dishcloths? Yes, 52 dishcloths, one a week for an entire year." To which Sam said, "No, no, no, ain't happening." And so shortly after that, there was some conversations had, and our near and dear Laura was double dog dared and triple dog dared. And being the person that she is, she cannot back down from a double or a triple dog dare. So a year of dishcloths was born. And a bunch of us have joined in on the dishcloth train, and we have been making right along with her for an entire year. Yes, an entire year. We started this last September. And guess what? Today's reveal is week 52 dishcloth. Yes. So that means this is our Year of Dishcloths Wednesday Wipeout finale. Oh my gosh. It seems like we just started this yesterday. But going back to the book, it is broke down into the 4 seasons. And Laura decided, since we were starting it last September, that it would be a good idea to start in the winter section. That way, by the time we finished them, we would be rolling up on the holidays, and you could gift them during the holidays if you so chose. And then once we finished winter, we moved on to spring. Then we moved on to summer. And then, as the final season, we moved into fall, and we are completing our fall section today. So, none of the dishcloths were made in chronological order in here either. Nope. Laura made it fun. She wrote down every single dishcloth for whatever season we were working in, and she drew them at random. So, from week to week, we couldn't even make ahead to try and get ahead of the game. No, we had to wait till she pulled out to let us know what dishcloth we were making, because they weren't in order. Everything was random. So let's do a real quick rundown, starting with number one in the winter season, and we will work our way up to our final dishcloth number 52 for today. So I got my trusty dusty little list here. Yes, I kept track the whole year. Usually I am not that organized, and I was organized with this because I was not missing or getting anything mixed up. No, no, no. So for week one, we were working in the winter season. She drew out this penguin right here. So we had to do this penguin last September. And I'm going to stack them here as I pull them out. The winter season had 16 dishcloths in it. It was the biggest season. So we were on it for quite a while. And then for week two, we did this Christmas wreath. This was our dishcloth number two. Dishcloth number three we had to do was Rudolph. And I'm going to be honest, some of these, a lot of us did go rogue on. Um, yeah, we did. So dishcloth number 4 was the gingerbread house. Dishcloth number 5 she pulled was for the poinsettia, and I thought this one was pretty. Then dishcloth number 6, we did the snowman head. That was the next one. And then the next one she pulled out, number 7, was the snowman block. This one was a lot of fun. And then week 8, or dishcloth number 8, we did the snowflake. And I kind of went a little rogue with the snowflake that is in the center, because the one in the pattern to me ended up looking like a drunken spider web. So I did my own snowflake, and I thought it was a lot prettier and I like it a lot better. So there was that one. And then we moved on to dishcloth number 9, which she drew the candy cane blocks. And a lot of people hated this one, but we did it. And yeah, we were better people for it, right? And then for the dishcloth number 10, she drew out the Christmas tree. And my original Christmas tree had baubles, a string of garland, and it was given to a family member. And I just hadn't had the chance to, I just made another one, and I haven't had a chance to put that on there because honestly, I totally forgot about it. So we will get those on there. And then for dishcloth number 11, she drew out the holiday hexagon. And I think this is probably the only one that I did in Christmas variegated yarn. So there was that one. And then for a dishcloth number 12, we did the poinsettia in a square, however you want to put it. I think the book had it like this, where the leaf was on top. And then for dishcloth number 13, I went rogue on this one. I most certainly did, because this pattern was called Scrubby, and it called for you buying one of those nylon poof dish scrubby thingies and making this dishcloth and then sewing it onto the scrubby. I hate those mesh things because they get yucky, they come apart, and everything else. And if it's sewed on there, it would totally ruin the washcloth, and you would have to throw it away with the yucky scrubby. So, no. So, when I just did a center for what was missing in the pattern, and I used scrubby yarn to I double stranded it with scrubby yarn. So that was what I did for the scrubby. And then for dishcloth number 14, she drew at random. It was Santa. And I was not a fan of all the baubles, but you know what? I got a lot of practice. And I kind of felt like a pro when it was over with and done. So that was number 14. Then for dishcloth number 15, she drew out the white snowflake, which I did not do white. I'm not a big fan of a lot of white. I did it in this sparkly light blue, and I thought it turned out pretty. So that was my white snowflake. I used the term white loosely because mine was blue. And then dishcloth number 16, for the final one for winter, she drew out Christmas lace. And I did one in the blues with that sparkly outer edge. But then I did a second one because I wanted to see what it looked like in the Christmas colors. So I did it in red, and then I trimmed it out in, I think it was what was left of the Christmas yarn cotton. So I actually did 2 of them. So that wrapped up winter, and we moved on to spring. And spring had, how many did it have? 14. So the first one she drew out for spring, and mind you, this was on Christmas Day. was the tulips. So we did tulips for dishcloth number 17. And then for dishcloth number 18, she drew out morning glories. And I love morning glories. I plant them every year, although I didn't have to do it this year because they came up on their own. I was, yeah, I was really surprised. So that was number 18. And then number 19 was the Forget Me Not. And I thought this was super pretty. Then dishcloth number 20 was the daffodil. So there was the daffodil, and I really love this one. It is so pretty. I plan on making this in more colors. And then for dishcloth number 21, she drew out the passion flower. And I went crazy with the color on this one. There we go. And then for dishcloth number 22, she drew at random our Easter bunny. And I put a little heart on there. I don't remember if theirs had a heart on it or not. So that was number 22. And then 23's dishcloth that was drawn was the wild rose. And I think this one is very pretty too. And let's flip. And then for dishcloth number 24, she drew out the cornflower. And I think this one is pretty too. I will probably make this one again in different colors as well. Not so much white. I'm not a big fan of the white. And then for dishcloth number 25, she drew out the shamrock. So that was our shamrock for number 25. And then dishcloth number 26 was, and I remember some people going rogue on this one, that really cracked me up, Ellen. And it was called 13 Grannies in a Square. And yeah, it was a lot of sewing, but I think that it turned out pretty at the end. So I'm not mad about it. And then for dishcloth number 27, she drew out Lacy Violets. And I really love this one. It's got that trellis look. The little violets are super cute. And I plan on making this one again in different colors. So there we go. And then dishcloth number 28 was the Rose Granny. And it's also got the trellis vibe with the little purple rose in this. Yeah, I was feeling purple. I think I was channeling my mom. So because she loves purple. And then dishcloth number 29 was called Grandmother's Flower Garden. And I think this one would be very pretty in like variegated purples and then different shades of purple. But I like it. This was a lot of sewing yet again. And then dishcloth number 30 was the Peach Delight. And we were still feeling the purple, as you can tell. So there was the end of spring. So then we moved into summer. Yes, we moved into summer. Here's summer. And summer section had 13 dishcloths in it. So the first one that she drew ended up being the Tropical Breeze. There's that. And then the next one she drew at random for dishcloth number 32 was the Funfetti. And I did mine in purples and whites. And then dishcloth number 33 for the summertime countdown was Summer Rose. And I think it is very pretty. I will probably also be making this one again at some point in different colors because I like it. And then for dishcloth number 34 was one that a lot of us dreaded. And I do mean a lot. But then it was like, well, let's hurry up and get it over with because once it's done, right? And so that week for dishcloth number 34, Laura drew out the popcorn. And we did our movie theater bucket of popcorn. And I did mine in yellow up here rather than white because I wanted buttered popcorn. And then for dishcloth number 35, Laura drew out the sunny day, the little sunshine right there. And for the following week for dishcloth number 36, she drew out sunflower in a circle. And I think this one is super pretty too. And I do plan on making this again in different colors as well. You can tell I love the flowers. I just love the flowers. I don't know what it is. I just do. So then for dishcloth number 37, Laura drew out retro ripple right there. And I did mine in, this is Hobby Lobby cotton in brights, the variegated, the prints. So, and then I trimmed it out in purple, of course. And that one was a super big one. And then for week 30, oh, the dishcloth number 38, she drew out summer shells. And I just did a C2C because I did not like how that dishcloth was working out. It was icky. It was bunched up. It was icky. So I did C2C with some aqua and some purple. And I like it. Of course, because it has purple and aqua in it. So then for dishcloth number 39, she drew out the flag. And a lot of people went rogue and did theirs a little bit different on theirs. So there was number 39. Then for dishcloth number 40, she drew out orange slice right there. And my kitty still plays with her version that she stole when I messed up the first one. And then for dishcloth number 41, she drew out our sunflower. And I thought this was pretty cool because in the book, you don't see all the texture in the center. It just looks brown. And so it kind of has its own built-in scrubby right there. So that was number 41. Then for number 42, she drew out the, oh, we got them backwards. The bayberry right here. And yes, I did it in two-tone purple. I wasn't a fan of all these holes. I don't feel there's a purpose for holes in a dishcloth if you're going to be washing or a washcloth. So that was the bayberry. And then for dishcloth number 43, she drew out the golden fans. And I did mine instead of in gold, I did it in a variegated cotton that had different shades of blue and like a bluish gray. So there was the end of summer. And then we moved in to our fourth and final season of fall. Yes, we did. And it was kind of bittersweet that we were working on it. So I wanted to have fun with it. And as we did them every week, I got more and more sad because I knew that for each and every dishcloth she drew, that meant we were one more closer to the end of Wednesday Wipeout. So for dishcloth number 44, because it was 9 of them for fall, it was the smallest season with the least amount of dishcloths. So she drew out Thanksgiving turkey. And I did not want to use those colors because they were kind of depressing. And so I made mine a Thanksgiving peacock. And I had a lot of fun with it and I love it. I thought he was super cute and I would do it again. So that was dishcloth number 44. For 45, she drew out Before the Pie, the apple. And I like it. It's cute. And then for dishcloth number 46, she drew out the Illusions dishcloth. And that one required crochet thread. And I was not going to drive over an hour to buy crochet thread, nor was I going to online order just for crochet thread. I just wasn't doing it. So I just did a basic, another rainbowist in the brights dishcloth. And to me, the rainbows, the way that colors changes, it gave its own illusion. So there we go. And then for dishcloth number 47, she drew out the fancy heart. I think this one is so pretty, even though it's got some holes in it, and I'm not a fan. And it was a little confusing, but we got there in the end. And then we found our way to dishcloth number 48. And at random, she drew our pumpkin. And I think he's darling. I changed the stem a little bit because the one on the pattern looked more like a cork. And there we go. And it was perfect because we had started spooky season, 100 Days of Halloween. So then for week 49, she drew out the breast cancer awareness ribbon. And there are so many people did theirs in so many different colors for whatever. Laura did several ribbons for hers. I did mine in orange for MS awareness. I know there was some pink ones, there was some blue ones, there was some red ones, there was some green, there was all different colors, and they were all so pretty. So that was mine. Instead of breast cancer awareness, I did MS awareness. Because for those of you who are new here, I do have MS. So you will hear me talk about it here and there, especially if I'm having a rough day or a rough week. So then for dishcloth number 50, and we were also dreading this one as well. And it was like, oh, we might as well get it over with. She drew out the school bus. And yes, it was a pain. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. However, I was glad to get it over with. And I don't want to do this one again, ever. And then for week or dishcloth number 51, which was last week, that we revealed it, she had pulled out the ruffle square. And yet again, I did some pink, and I used that rainbow, the brights from Hobby Lobby. I want to call it Rainbow Bright, but I know that's not right. And I think it's pretty, and it's very dainty, and it looks more doily-ish to me. So there we go. That was dishcloth number 51. And that left just one more for the fall season and the end of the book. And so at random, Laura drew out the last and final dishcloth, which was the candy corn. And the book called for the white, the orange, and the yellow. But I also did one in the because you can get the autumn mix that has the autumn candy corns and the little pumpkins and stuff. So I did it in white, orange, and brown. And I would have done a third one in the brown, burgundy, and orange, but I couldn't find my burgundy. So we just left it off with, I did two of them because, I mean, it was the finale. And I love candy corn. I know it's a love it or hate it kind of thing, but they taste really good if you have a candy corn and a peanut. They taste like a payday candy bar, FYI. So, yes, I did candy corn. And the yarns that I used were for the white, I used this cotton that is the Sugars and Cream. I never finished it throughout the make along. So we still got some to be used in something else. And then for the orange, I used Peaches and Cream in bright orange right there. And the yellow, I used the color Sunshine, and it is also Peaches and Cream. And yeah, they're not finished. We still have some. And the brown on the autumn one is dark taupe. And it's also the peaches and cream. Yeah. So that is the end of Wednesday Wipeout. We have completed 52 dishcloths. I cannot believe our year-long make-along is over. I am so sad to see it go. But never fear, because even though we have finished with our beloved A Year of Dishcloths, our host of Wednesday Wipeout, the lovely Laura at Mammy Me's Crochet and Farming, has double dog dared, or was it a triple dog dare, for me to start the next dishcloth make along using this book from Leisure Arts. You can get it at Walmart, has it on their website. They also have it on Amazon. And I will put the links in the description box if you want to join in. We are not going to start this right away. We are going to take a dishcloth break so we can work on other projects and have a palette cleanser, so to speak. And as promised, several of you have already started getting your books. They've been ordered. Some of them have been delivered because they are ready to join in and they have their cotton and their book ready to go for when we do. We are going to start this in the new year. And I am still working on trying to figure out a name for the segment. It won't be a dishcloth a week because this only has 31 designs in it. So I will break it down, kind of divide it up and see how many days in between to complete this book. Unless you guys want to do one a week, we can do that. Or do you want me to divide the year by 31, and however many days that is, we'll do one that many days. So it is called The Little Encyclopedia of Dishcloths by Leisure Arts, The Art of Everyday Living. And it's got some super cute dishcloths in it, and we will do a book look at it in between now and then. And like I said, I will put the information where you can find it in the description box so you can join in, because it will be beginning in the beginning of the year. And if you have any fun ideas for naming the segment, let me know in the comments section and we will put them into consideration, because I've heard from several people that they are going to be joining in and I want to make it a lot of fun. And yeah, so never fear if you're sad, because our beloved Year of Dishcloths has come to an end. We will be starting a new one in 2026 with me hosting this time, thanks to Laura. And I hope it's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope a bunch of you join in and we can have a good time with it. And hopefully, most of these dishcloths won't be a headache like some of those were in that book, that the instructions were kind of vague and frustrating. So hopefully this one's not like that. I just want to have fun with it, and if we go rogue, we go rogue. And yeah, so like I said, if you've got any ideas for the name of the segment to be put in consideration, or any ideas, put them in the comment section and we'll talk. So I guess with that, I am going to let you guys go, and we are going to bid our very well loved book and its final farewell and say goodbye. We love you. And I don't know if all of us are going to miss you. I will. So with that, I want to tell Laura, thank you, thank you for hosting a year of so much fun and dishcloths galore. And I couldn't figure out what I was going to do with them. And I have finally decided I have a family reunion at the end of the month, and we're going up there on vacation, and I am going to take the whole lot with me and let all of the ladies go through them, and they can have what they want, and take them home. And I don't care if all of them are gone by the time I leave. That's fine because I can always make new ones, right? And they have a little piece of me, a family member, to take home with them and think of me every time they wash dishes or have it placed decoratively in their kitchen. And yeah, so I guess with that, I am going to tell you guys bye. That's the end. Our final farewell for Wednesday Wipeout. Love you guys. And love you, Laura, for doing the make along. Bye, guys.